Hey, it's Ted McGrath. Welcome to today. So I cover MSTR on this channel. I cover Bitcoin on this channel. And also I cover what's next. And so if you're not paying attention to what's going on with Ethereum and BMNR, then you are missing out on something spectacular. Now, not financial advice, not tax advice, not legal advice. Do your own research. But I'm going to get into this video what BMNR is. If you don't know what it is, go watch my previous video, because in my previous video, I went in length and I explained exactly what it is. Now, when I see moves like this in the marketplace, and I remember getting into MSTR for the first time back in 2020, and then really my big moves into MSTR was in 2024 early, and the volatility and movement of MSTR was hot. It was spiking up and down, and it wasn't uncommon to have 15, 20% moves. Well, not on MSTR, that's a 2x version, but on MSTR, it wasn't uncommon to have 10% moves in a day. And so I'm watching BMNR, and if you go back to Saylor's principles on vitality equals volatility, volatility equals vitality, we are watching the next MSTR, in my opinion, but from the perspective of Ethereum. So while MSTR owns Bitcoin, this new company, BMNR, which has major players involved, like Tom Lee's involved in this, major investors involved, like Peter Thiel from co-founder of PayPal, Kathy Ark from Ark Investments, and the blue chip investors of the world have invested in this. And so if you're watching what's going on with this, you're seeing just a completely new development on ETH treasury companies. And this is the largest ETH treasury company on the face of the planet right now. And their stock is moving like crazy. Now, this is not financial advice, not tax advice at all, because this thing is incredibly volatile. It's not uncommon to see 20% swings in a day on BMNR. But if you're watching Ethereum right now, there's been a lot of talk that Ethereum has been dead in the marketplace and it's been very slow this year. But if you're watching the moves on Ethereum, it is up massively over the last month, and it's about to break its all-time high sometime, maybe in the next week, maybe today, of what it was in the early 2020s. So this is a big, big, big deal. And I say this purely from an educational standpoint to pay attention and watch. Watch this stock, BMNR. Watch what it's doing. Watch Tom Lee. Tom Lee called Bitcoin back in 2012 and 2013 when it was $100. The news media thought he was crazy. Lots of investors who invested with him thought he was crazy. Some people pulled their business out on him, but he was right about Bitcoin. He was right about NVIDIA. He was right about Tesla. He's been right about the S&P, and he's right about this, okay? Now, I'm not saying this thing's not volatile as hell, that's going to move up and down and all over the place, but this is something to watch. And I like to look at companies. You know, I got back involved in Bitcoin, which isn't a company, but I got involved in Bitcoin in 2018. I got involved in Tesla way before that. And I like to look at the next big thing. And, you know, they come along sometimes once every year, once every couple years. And I believe that BMNR is the next big thing. And when I look at strategy back years ago, I think we are seeing the development of this type of metaphor or similarity, we can say, between strategy and BMNR. Completely different in terms of Ethereum and Bitcoin, but this is a big, 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 big game. So now Ethereum is not dead. Ethereum is moving. When you look at Wall Street is looking at Ethereum big time. Wall Street is moving onto Ethereum. If you look at the Ethereum platform right now, you've got Coinbase on Ethereum, and they built a layer 2 on Ethereum. You've got Robinhood on Ethereum, and they built a layer 2 on Ethereum. So a lot of the talk in the last couple years has been Ethereum is dead. Ethereum is not moving. Ethereum's too slow. The transaction fees are too high, which they call gas fees. And what people are building on top of Ethereum is a layer 2, and a layer 2 that they're building on top of it, because Ethereum is a blockchain and it's meant to build things on top of it. People build financial apps on top of it. And so Robinhood built their financial app, Coinbase built their financial app, and Wall Street is moving over here. Why? Because the number one initiative right now and a huge focus in the marketplace is tokenization. And what that basically means is you're going to see stocks, you're going to see real estate, you're going to see bonds, you're going to see all different kinds of assets right now that are only trading during certain periods of time, right? Like, how is Wall Street going to compete with this new digital world? If Wall Street's open from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock and you can trade pre-hours and post-hours, but that's still only, 12 hours of the day? How are you going to compete with platforms in the digital world and the blockchain world that are trading 24/7, 365? They're going to tokenize their assets. And you're going to be able to go on all these different platforms in terms of Coinbase, being on Ethereum, in terms of Robinhood being on Ethereum, and you're going to see Fidelity's move on. You're going to see all the different brokers move on. This is coming in the future, and they're going to move onto Ethereum, many of them, and you're going to be able to trade stocks 24/7, 365. This is the new wave. Speed is king and queen, and the world knows it. And so where's Wall Street going to move? They're going to move to the most trusted blockchain on planet Earth in terms of blockchains where you can build finance apps on. We know Bitcoin's its own thing, and Bitcoin, it's digital gold. It sits there on the blockchain. There. You got Ethereum is programmable money, and people are programming on top of Ethereum, and they're creating new finance apps, and it's going to change the freaking planet. And where's Wall Street going to go? They're going to go to the trusted platform. The most trusted platform right now is Ethereum because it has not gone down over 10 years, and the security is there. So they're going to build their layer 2s on top of the layer 1 of Ethereum. The settlement's going to take place on Ethereum where it's secure, it's transparent, it's immutable, can't be changed. And this is where the world is going. So pay attention to what's happening. This is a big deal, man. Check out Ethereum. Check out BMNR. Full disclaimer, I am invested in BMNR. And this is not me just sitting here promoting it for my own benefit. I want to share great things. And I'm just promoting the education of this and to get knowledgeable on what's happening in the marketplace. I'm telling you, this is a big one. Now, it's super, super volatile. It moves 15-20% in a day. In the last hour that I've been watching it, this thing, if we check right now, has moved up from 58 to 65 and then back down again. Now it's all the way down to 61. Last week it was at 30 and it went all the way up to 68 or 70 yesterday. It went up to 70 yesterday. So it's moving, man. Now, I am a big, big believer in strategy and Bitcoin. It's still my largest holdings. I know strategy where it's going, and I'm continuing to hold on to strategy because I think we are going to see a rocket ride with strategy. And, it's a little bit sleepy right now. So I like games. And so I'm looking for what's the next thing as well that I can get involved in. And for me personally, I'm getting educated. I'm getting hatted on BMNR. I'm learning about it more and more. And Tom Lee does a great job describing it. So if you look up Tom Lee on YouTube and you hear him talk about BMNR, he's really doing a great job of explaining Ethereum, explaining BMNR, and you should go look at the companies that are invested in this right now. So if you believe that there's going to be more Bitcoin treasury companies on the face of the planet, which there's more and more springing up every single day, if you believe in 5 years that many, many, many companies are going to have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, it's not too far-fetched that many, many companies will have Ethereum on their balance sheet. Right now, there's about 12 or 13 companies with Ethereum on their balance sheet. So when we look at this, who's the leader? Right? Just like strategy was the leader with, the first one to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Now they're the behemoth. They're so far ahead of the game. Well, strategy wants to own 5 to 7% of the Bitcoin supply. Well, look at Ethereum. BMNR, who's got Ethereum on their balance sheet, their goal is to own 5% of the ETH supply. And they're making massive strides right now. They came out with a $2.9 billion purchase of Ethereum. That value has gone way up now to where the value on their balance sheet of Ethereum is much, 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 much higher. So this is a new game in the marketplace. This is one to pay attention to. Again, not financial advice, not tax advice, not legal advice. These are incredibly, incredibly volatile investments. But if you understand the core purpose of what they're doing, just like what strategy was doing with Bitcoin, I knew it in 2024 when I got in early when the stock was at 79. I continued to buy the stock at $100 and something. I can continue to buy more of it at $150. And I even bought some at $330 as well. So at the end of the day, when I'm looking at where the puck is going, Wayne Gretzky always used to say, look at where the puck is going, not where it's at. He was a famous hockey player. Right now, you got to look at where the puck is going. And the puck is going to the future of the digital world. The puck of Wall Street is literally going to Ethereum. They're going to Ethereum. Now, I know Solana's kicking ass, and I know Solana's growing on its user base, and I know Solana's transactions are faster, but Wall Street's going to be conservative. They're going to go with what's been around for longer. 70% of the stablecoin market right now is on Ethereum. All right? 70% of the stablecoin market. It's big time. All right? So we're looking at something huge in the works right now with BMNR, and all I'm saying is pay attention to what's going on. All right? I'm literally not switching with you guys on MSTR. Somebody saying this into the thread. I'm not switching on you. I'm just saying when the next MSTR comes along, we need to get educated on it. At the end of the day, when you're looking at making investments in things or getting educated on the financial world, it's important to compare things, right? When you look at statistics, and I analyze statistics all the time in my business, one statistic in isolation means nothing. If I say the number is 100 and you're going, well, I don't know if 100 is good. If I say the next number 70, you know 100 is good compared to 70. So when you're looking at comparing things, you need to look in the marketplace, is my viewpoint, to get educated on different things and not be so fixed in one area, because you might just miss the next big opportunity. And when you get educated and you understand these things and you understand the principles behind them, I think this is something to not look away from. I'm not saying invest in it. I'm not saying do anything with it financially. I'm saying understand what's going on. This is not going away, man. I'm telling you. BMNR is not going away. MSTR is not going away. Bitcoin treasury companies are not going away. Bitcoin's not going away. Ethereum is not going away. This is the future, and it's here now. And very few people are paying attention to the next opportunities that are coming to see who's changing the game in the marketplace. Saylor completely changed the financial world forever. Changed it forever. He changed Wall Street. Tom Lee is changing Wall Street in a different way. And I can tell you right now, Tom Lee has the ear of Wall Street, my friends. All right. He deals with institutional investors all the time. He deals with people on Wall Street all the time. He is one of the people that pioneered, even though he didn't invent digital gold, he pioneered it on Wall Street and pushed the story on Wall Street, just like Saylor pushed the Wall Street, the story on Bitcoin. Tom Lee also pushed the story on Bitcoin. So he's a big fan of Bitcoin. He's a big believer in Bitcoin, and he made a move on ETH, and it's fascinating to watch. So what I would tell you is, don't take your eye off BMNR. Get educated on it, study it, learn about it, because now you can look at it and compare and go, wow, MSTR, amazing. I still think MSTR is one of the best companies on the face of the planet. And then you look next and you go, great, could be the next up and comer? I certainly should pay attention to the company that's going to own the most Ethereum on the planet going into the future, and right now owns the most Ethereum on the planet. And by the way, the blue chip investors who are behind this, there's some major firepower behind this company. So when you start getting blue chip investors, when you start getting big names behind this thing, and people who are investing their money into it, I think we got something that's going to roll. Okay. Now, mind you, I bought, and I'm just full disclaimer on this, I bought my first shares of BMNR at $38. I bought it 52. I bought it 57. I bought it 64. I bought it 68. And so I'm planning my flagpole on my own personal investments on this, because I'm like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. Not saying you should do this at all. I did my research. I studied it. I consumed hours and hours and hours upon of Tom Lee stuff, and checked his track record and been following him for a while. And I saw who's involved, and I'm like, man, I'm not passing up on literally learning about this thing and educating people about this thing, because I think we will look back a year from now. And again, volatility, this thing could shoot up to 70 and drop down to 10. It could, right? So it's super volatile, but I'm also playing a bit of a longer game on this. I'm not playing the tomorrow game on this on BMNR. So I hope this serves you. I just wanted to come on and tell you to just check this thing out. Just go get educated on it. Just go check it out. Just go watch it. I think it's great. I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin. I've been investing in Bitcoin since 2018. I love Bitcoin. There's nobody I admire more in the financial world than Michael Saylor, period. Nobody comes close. I think he's an innovator. I love his certainty. I love the path that he has taken to literally change the financial world. And at the same time, I'm not somebody who's so fixed in a condition where I'm just going to stick my attention to one thing. I'm going to look around the world and see what's happening. And I'll tell you, as I look around the financial world and I see what's happening, I'll tell you, something's happening with Ethereum right now, and something is happening with BMNR. All right. So just keep your attention, on multiple opportunities here. I'm not saying invest in them. I'm just saying keep the intention, because comparable data is important. Compare one thing to the next and start to see the similarities. Like, what's the difference between MSTR and BMNR? We know, number one, MSTR owns Bitcoin. We know BMNR, they invest in Ethereum. What's the difference between MSTR and Bitcoin and BMNR? Well, we know MSTR owns Bitcoin, and there's a fixed supply on Bitcoin. We know that BMNR owns Ethereum, not quite a fixed supply on it. They've kind of been adjusting the supply and playing with it. So they're not apples to apples at all. But also, who are the people involved and behind it? And you got to look at that. One could say that Tom Lee going on the news media, Tom Lee being very vocal in the area, one could say that his voice completely influenced the shift on Ethereum per se. And so we could also say that about Saylor. We know he's influenced the shift on Bitcoin as well. And so I'm looking at this next voice of Tom Lee, and he's definitely influencing the game on Ethereum, and he's definitely influencing the game on BMNR, and he's not going to stop. So pay attention. Just want to drop in and say hello, drop a nugget on this. I will be back doing MSTR videos. Don't think that I'm like abandoning MSTR and Bitcoin. They're still my largest positions. And I want to share some stuff that I think once in a while when it comes along, it's worth paying attention to. Okay. Hope this serves you. Also, ultimately, this is not financial advice. This is not tax advice. This is not legal advice. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just somebody who's educating on things that I'm passionate about, and it's something worth looking at. All right. Hope it serves you. See you on the next video. Subscribe, comment, like, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think when you get some more data. And my previous video, you can go watch, gives you tons of data on BMNR and Ethereum. So go watch that. I think you'll really enjoy it. Hope it serves you soon. You guys are amazing. And MSTR, I'm still a huge proponent in it. Still majorly invested in it. Still majorly invested in Bitcoin. So I'm not abandoning these things at all. And I'm not abandoning my whole thesis on this channel. And I'm not abandoning my conviction on it. I'm just like, okay, we're kind of just moving a little bit this way, that way, that way. I want to see what the new game in town is. And I believe one of the new games in town is BMNR and Ethereum. Pay attention to it. Hope it serves you guys. Have a great one. Talk to you on the other side.